Yo, everyone, what's up, guys? How's it going? We are back in the house. SPP podcast. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Cody slapped the crap out of The Rock on Smackdown a couple of days ago, and we're just now getting back to reacting to it. And what a slap it was, right? I mean, I would have slapped anybody that would have called me an accident as well. Um, the Rock, what the Rock had to say to Cody was like, whew, that was intense, man. The Rock is on fire. I gotta tell you, as a heel right now, and so that's been the really cool thing about it all. But man, and then of course they barely I think they barely made the cut to get that slap on TV. I think they were about 30 seconds away from not being able to get that slap on TV. You saw the thing on
Yeah.
Twitter or whatever with the
Guy was
camera
like,
guy going
rap,
like this,
rap,
like,
rap.
come on, let's go, get to it, go home. And they got to it, and they got the slap in, and that was it. Nothing else happened after the slap, and the challenge was accepted. So we have a night one WrestleMania main event set. It is the tag team match of Cody Rhodes and Seth Rollins versus The Rock and Roman Reigns. So we got our first main event of night one, and we got our main event of night two set up involving, uh, you know, two of the four competitors that will be involved in both main events. So that'll be interesting to see how that all works out. But before we get started with everything, I have to always introduce my co-host, the Tribal Cheese. How you doing today, man?
Feeling fresh. Yeet. All night. I'm ready to do this. I'm ready to go. I'm ready to talk about this craziness that's happening. This weird direction WWE is going in with this doubleheader shit. So let's do it.
All right, man. Yeah. So pointers on that promo from Friday night. All four guys really had a lot to say. Just to kind of point out a few things. Obviously, there was the big slap. That was the big thing about it all. Seth Rollins came out looking goofy as hell again, as he usually does, but had some good pointers from his side, and then Roman Reigns came out and basically called him a cross dresser.
Oh god, that
and
was so good
and
though.
that's a great line. Um,
But it
but for
wasn't
some reason it
PC.
just wasn't. Yeah, it wasn't PC for one, and it just didn't seem like a lot of people didn't like that. But because of
No,
that, but at the
no.
same time, I'm like, guys, like, what do you want? Like, he didn't excuse my language or anything. Not that we have to excuse our language here on the show, but like, he wasn't calling him gay. Like, you look gay. Like, he wasn't saying anything like that. He just calling him a cross dresser. I mean, I don't know, but you want the Attitude Era back, but you don't want anybody to call anybody a cross dresser. Okay,
Yeah.
whatever. I mean, I don't know. I don't make a big deal out of it. It's fine. Of course, WWE actually did cut that out of their replay of the package on Monday night. He did not have Roman Reigns saying cross dresser. They cut that part out. Makes sense, but that's what this is
I
all
get it.
about, right? It's all about live TV. It's all about saying things that you don't really mean, but it all plays into everything. But all four guys were on
We
fire.
mean it.
All four guys were on fire. Cody was on fire. Seth was on fire. Roman was on fire. The Rock was on fire for that promo. Although my only nitpick, I got to nitpick a little bit, right?
Sure, sure.
Is The Rock just seems to ramble a lot, or not really ramble, but repeat himself a lot,
Repeat himself.
multiple times. And I think that's why these things tend to run a little bit longer with him in the ring, because he'll say the same thing about four different times. And it's like, I don't know if he's doing that on purpose, or I don't know if that's just, I don't know if it's just he's trying to remember what he's trying. Maybe he needs his notes on his wrist again. I don't know. That's a shot. That's a shot at The Rock, but
Ouch.
yeah, that we got now know that those two matches, the championship match and the tag team match, are going to be both of your main events of WrestleMania night one and night two. My quick thoughts on it before I get your thoughts on it are, I think it's you have to do that. You can't put The Rock in any other part on the card other than the main event, right? After not being in a match for 12 years or whatever. The fortunate part is that I think there are other matches on the card that could potentially be a night one main event, but they're just gonna have to take a back seat to guys that are gonna main event both nights. But I don't know. If you're gonna have The Rock in a match, then yeah, he's got to be one of the main events then. So I guess I'm not too like against it, but it just kind of sucks for anybody else that wanted an opportunity to be a night one main event. They're not gonna get the chance to do that. But what are your thoughts on all this that happened, and knowing now that we have two main events involving a lot of the same guys on both nights?
Yeah, yeah. So, number one, let's just get this out of the way. If you are a man and you're wearing women's clothing, it is okay to be called a crossdresser. That's all I gotta say. And if you're a woman wearing a man's clothing, it is okay to be called a crossdresser because that's exactly what you're doing. Now that we got that out of the way, for all those people out there that are I guess offended by this tough shit, right? Don't watch the product if you don't like it. Because guess what? Nobody's gonna stop doing what they're doing. They're not gonna stop cutting promos. They're not gonna stop calling people crackheads. They're gonna keep doing whatever they need to do to get people to watch this product. And this is the closest we're ever gonna get to the Attitude Era, like Johnny T said. So either you love it, you hate it, but one thing for sure, you're gonna respect it, right? So there you go. Mm-hmm. Now, with that being said, I don't love the decision to double book these wrestlers. I've pretty much stayed consistent on this. I haven't changed my opinion on this. I think it's a huge mistake. I think the WWE could have did something a little bit better to push this angle. I don't think that. I don't know. It's kind of strange to me having like Roman Cody getting the main event 2 times. Like they got the main event on both nights. Like that's just crazy. Like if you're another talent in the back, in the back, you're like, what the hell do I got to do? Like I understand if I have to give up my spot to The Rock.
Yeah.
But to Roman and Cody twice, like both nights, I mean, shit, that's a tough pill to swallow, right? That's just a classic case of double booking, and I'm not really a fan of that. I think that they could have gone several different directions, and one of those I'll propose is that they could have left Seth off this, this whole thing, and they could have just did Seth Drew, and they could have did a triple threat with Roman, The Rock, and Cody on night 2, which would have still been a humongous main event. I think that they could have set it up as, The Rock is before this. They could have set it up as, we don't really know where The Rock stands, like he kind of is with Roman, but he's kind of not. And he's kind of, there's a little bit of friction and tension. Is he going to, are they going to double team Cody? Or, do they all just hate each other, right? Like all 3 of them, right? They don't trust each other. They could have played it a different way without having to double book. I don't know if this is a little bit to protect The Rock because, we've talked about, maybe his reluctance to be in a full match. But, I'm sure the last thing we wanted to see was The Rock in a tag match, like sitting in the corner waiting for a tag. I think that's going to be weird. Because from what I understand, it's just a regular tag match. It's not anything, any kind of special rules outside of that. So,
yeah,
not a big fan. I think it was unnecessary to bring Seth into it. I think Seth would have given us a wonderful show with Drew McIntyre. I also offered a second solution, which was The Rock could have came after Seth Rollins by himself, one-on-one.
Yeah, I remember you saying that.
And that could have been your night 1 main event, which maybe he's pushing the bloodline, wants belts, wants control of both shows. We want all that gold under the bloodline's belt, and that could have been something that they could have done. It would have snubbed Drew McIntyre, or maybe he would have had to been in some kind of a triple threat. I don't know. It could have been something like that, right? They could have put The Rock into this as a triple threat, saying he's just in it, right? Because it is what it is. They could have inserted him. I'm not saying that it's a great idea, but there's several other solutions to having 3 of the men double booked. That's insane.
That's right. Yeah.
That is so freaking
That's crazy,
risky.
right?
They can't even go out there and tell you. Either they're going to have to be really careful on night 1 and like pull punches. Yeah. There ain't going to be no tables broken. There ain't going to be like, or if there is, there's a huge risk to these guys. Like all it takes is like a herniated disc and you're going to be giving us a shitty match on night 2. A shitty match, So Um, but hey, we are here now. Uh, so much for thinking about what could be. We're here now. I guess the big question now is: do we get bloodline rules on night two, or do we get Cody versus Roman straight up? And me personally, I think bloodline rules is going to be night two. I think The Rock is going to get a win in his comeback, and I think they're going to stack up the board against Cody. But I still think I'm still to this day think that Cody's going to win. Um, but yeah, what do you think about that? What do you think about that? That's what I'm thinking is they're going to build this unsurmountable mountain for Cody to overcome, and we're finally going to get a finish to the
Yeah.
story.
Yeah, so the question that I guess that you ask yourself now that we know where this is, we know where this is headed as far as the matches are concerned. Now the question that we ask is, yeah, well, who wins night one then, and who takes the pin? That's big, right? Because that's going to set up what happens in night two. You don't want in my opinion, you don't want Cody to take the pin here, because you know you don't want Cody going to night two with a loss. So, I mean, with Seth Rollins, I mean, are you gonna have Seth Rollins lose both nights in a row too? Like take a pin 2 nights in a row, maybe, right? You can't. I mean, I feel like it's got to be either Seth taking the pin or it's got to be The Rock taking a pin or for whatever teams, right?
Hmm.
That's tough because there's not there. Oh man, this is the tough part about doing things like this. There's no. I mean, the losers are not real winners. The winners are not real. You know what I mean? Like, it's tough because I guess if I had to choose, I guess Seth would have to be the one that would have to take both pins, both nights then,
Hmm. I
because
disagree.
I don't think having Cody take a pin is the right call,
Sure, sure.
and I don't think having The Rock take a pin is the right call. Or I don't know. You could, right? If you're gonna have Cody and Seth
You
win
could.
night one, then you could just have him take the pin, sure. But then that means that it's just a straight up match at night two. And I'm
Nah.
actually with you when I think I want to see all of everything in night two. In the night two
Mm-hmm.
main event, I want to see all of it. Bring it all on. But then also,
Everybody. Everybody comes out the back.
but also have the Cody Vengers come out and help
Yeah.
out to get rid of of Roman Thanos and whatnot and and all that. Like let's have WrestleMania Endgame in night two. Just everybody that's ever been affected by the bloodline, that's a face, of course, comes out to help out Cody and the bloodline, and everyone's just going at crazy. And you still in the middle of the ring. Eventually, everything kind of cleans up itself, and then you have Roman and Cody there in the end with them too to duke it out to see what's going to happen, and that's how everything ends. That's what I would like to see. But the issue is that, well, then who do you have take the pin? And I guess it's gonna have to be Seth. I don't think Cody is the guy
Well,
you want taking the pin, right? At all at
let me let,
WrestleMania?
let me like just throw this out there, right? The reason I think that Cody could take the pin on night one is if shenanigans happens in that tag match, right? So if shenanigans, and don't forget, you could win the match by DQ as well. So there's those DQs, also a player in this game. But if Cody is somehow cheated out of this match, imagine him getting up from taking the pin, Samoan Spike, whatever it is, and he's looking up, and Roman and The Rock are looking down on him on the end of night one, and they're like, "We've got you. You're done now." Right? And he's looking up. He just took a pin. He's got this look. He's disheveled. He's got this look of like, "What am I gonna do? Like, how am I gonna win this? They screwed me." Kind of like, you're gonna feel for Cody. You're gonna be like, "Oh my god," and like
Sure.
Seth's gonna be over there looking at him like what the fuck, right? Like, what do we do now? And so now you have bloodline rules. So Cody could potentially lose on one to build up his story as the odds stacked against him. He just lost the first night. Can you imagine the controversy? He just lost the first night. What chance does he have the second night? What chance does he have, right? Like that's what it's gonna
Yeah.
be, right? The Rock before WrestleMania. What chance does he have now? We beat him last night. We're gonna beat him again tonight. We're gonna pin him again, and they're gonna say they're gonna do the same thing. They're gonna have shenanigans. Maybe you called out some of the Roman's cousins coming in. Maybe we have an appearance in night one from one of Roman's new cousins where he
Oh,
comes out
jeez.
and fucking screws Cody over, right? And that happens night one, setting up night two, where like this seems to happen again. Only this time you got the Cody Avengers. So, I think it could work, right? You could
Yeah.
make Cody look even more like he deserves it, right? Because he got screwed night one. He's got, basically he looks like he has no chance night two. And now we have the Cody Avengers come out, help out.
Yeah.
I think what would be interesting though is here's a little wrinkle that I thought about, because if Seth loses his belt, because that what we're talking about, Cody versus Roman, has to be the absolute last match of all of WrestleMania. So if Cody loses to Drew McIntyre, he's coming back out to the ring to help Cody without a belt, like without having a W under his belt. That's kind of weird to me, because I'm like, usually when you lose like that, you're gone. You don't show
You don't come
up.
out on the rest of the show, yeah.
You don't come out the rest of the show. So I find that it would be weird to hear burn it down. He's coming out and he just lost. Like that is the only thing that I think is actually kind of weird, which means Seth may retain instead of losing to Drew McIntyre. So if he wins and Cody wins, then there you go, right? Because now there it is. So there's a possibility right there. There is some possibility there.
Okay, so let's keep playing devil's advocate a little bit. So with that, right? Let's just say Seth does lose both matches. He takes the pin night one. He loses his title in night two. By the time he's done with both of those matches, he's physically spent. He's probably playing off of, he's hurt, everything, and he's not going to be able to be there for Cody in the main event because he's so messed up, right? So who else is there to help Cody at that point, right? You have guys like maybe, depending on the outcome of Jay and Jimmy or whatever, you have Jay come out or whatever if Jimmy interferes, and Solo's going to get involved. If it's Bloodline rules, he's going to get involved and whatnot. Would you then have maybe John Cena make an appearance instead of Seth Rollins to help out Cody?
Who else has been wronged by the Bloodline? I mean, I wouldn't even be surprised to see Drew McIntyre come out. I wouldn't be surprised to see Drew McIntyre come out, even though he's been fucked over by
if
the
he
Bloodline.
Wins the title, he's done. With the rest of his night is done. Even if he loses, I think he's gonna either win that match or win the title and go off and celebrate. I don't think we see him the rest of the night. It's got to be like, I know John Cena was.
Triple H is gonna come out.
LA Knight was, but I don't. I guess it just depends on what they want to do. If they're just gonna have everybody that's ever been wronged by the Bloodline come out. You could have LA Knight come out. You could have
you can have
come
KO.
out. You can have KO come out. You can have Jay come out. You can have anybody. And you can have Sammy come out. I mean, right? I mean, if you want to do it that way,
yep,
you can have them all just come out. And
especially if Sammy wins.
And I mean, from what I heard on the Twitter sphere, John Cena is not doing anything that night. So could you have a John Cena appearance, right? What better way to kind of help the passing of the torch kind of thing? Although I think the torch already has been passed to Roman at this point, but you know what I mean. Like the babyface torch or whatever, But possibilities, and we'll just have to see how it all goes. It's really exciting, I will say that.
Who's feuding with Solo right now? Solo
nobody.
Has
Nobody really. He's just kind of floating in this whole thing. He's just kind of there. He's just kind of there.
Randy Orton.
He's not feuding
also
with.
Has been wronged.
He
by
has
the
been wronged by the Bloodline as well. So you have plenty of possibilities if you just want to do this whole,
because also Randy was in Evolution.
And I mean, they right now, if you wanted to do things like that, the baby faces would outnumber the number of bloodline members.
Oh yeah,
So
LA
so
Knight.
that's what I'm saying. Like you could finally have just an outnumbering, a kind of switching of the story there, because up until now all the baby faces have been outnumbered by the bloodline people, and
Yep.
all these Roman matches and stuff like that. So maybe this is where you turn the tide a little bit in order to get, try to complete this cinematic finish you're trying to get to,
Literally.
maybe.
Literally. And we could be wrong, and it could just be Roman versus Cody the night 2, boring as shit. But hey, we could be wrong.
It could be. I don't. That's the tough part, right? Because you had you've seen what these kind of main events like back to back can be sometimes when it comes to doing the same two guys 2 years in a row. I think the last time we saw that was, I'm trying to think about the top of my head, I want to say it was Cena Rock in back to back years. We had Cena Rock.
Was it really?
We had Cena Rock 2012 and then Cena Rock 2013 for the title on that one. Up until then, there hasn't. Now there's been a couple of like guys that have faced off in the main event on multiple WrestleManias, like Brock and Roman, and
Yeah, Brock Roman did a couple of times.
and then of course before The Rock and Cena, it was well, no, actually, because that wasn't a main event. So I was gonna say Shawn and Undertaker, but it wasn't a main event in 2009. It was the main event in 2010. But yeah, that's what I'm trying to think of. I could be wrong, but I know Roman and Brock have had 3 main events against each other, but not in consecutive years. They did it in 2015, they did it in 2018, and then they did it just 2 years ago in 2022. So
they have to do it though, because
but
Cody and Roman are the biggest things.
No. So this is what I'm getting at. I'm sorry, I didn't get to the point. But the point that I was getting to is, so Rock Cena 2012 was awesome. That was a great match. Rock Cena 2013 Part 2 was just okay. And it was the same match formula. The only difference is it was a title match. The first one wasn't a title match. It was just, iconic match or whatever. This is why I'm thinking, like, I'm with you where I say that I think if you go into Cody Roman Part 2 and you use the same formula you did last year, I don't think it's going to have the same kind of flair that you're hoping for. This is why I'm thinking, yeah, go ahead and have The Rock and Roman win night 1, and let's just fucking throw everything on the screen.
Let's just
throw it all on the screen, and let's end it with Cody overcoming it all.
Let's
celebrate
it.
it.
The Rock betraying Roman.
That's another thing
At
too.
At the very
right
end of it all, The Rock betrays Roman and hands the keys to Cody.
This is why
That's turning face.
Ooh, that's a possibility too, right? There's so many possibilities that can happen here. But I do think at the end of the day, maybe you don't turn The Rock face at the end of night 2. Maybe you turn him face the next coming week or something. But I'd like to see a scene where Cody wins the belt and all the other baby faces that have overcome everything that helped him, they're all in the ring celebrating with him, and he's on heads on the shoulder. I mean, I don't know. This is Cody's gonna. If he wins, this is Cody's first time winning a world championship in his career. So,
and he did something his dad didn't do.
So the visual is gonna be everything about that. So, would I want to see him with everybody like celebrating, or would I just want to see him in the ring like celebrating by himself, maybe with his wife, maybe with his daughter, celebrating
his dog,
celebrating with Pharaoh, and I don't know. There's so many good things you can do, or like we're saying, we could just see Roman retaining.
And you know what? I wouldn't blame WWE for doing this either, because he's big, he's huge.
Well, and if they're pushing for that record, that's the only way you're gonna do it, right? And you can't have him lose till SummerSlam. So, but I find it hard to believe that for 2 years in a row you're gonna have Cody lose, and you're gonna have him lose after you pivoted back to him. I don't know
Sure.
about that. I don't know, but we'll just have to see.
Yeah,
But
I
though
think
but
that
these but all these guys are going to be in the main event in both nights, and they're gonna night one affects night two pretty heavily. So,
yeah.
but I'm
if
all for
if
chaos.
Yeah, if in the chaos, right? If The Rock does betray Roman, then we'll still get The Rock versus Roman possibly at SummerSlam, which is the match they wanted to do
Hmm.
anyways. So, it could be that grudge match of like you betrayed the family, blah 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 blah
Yeah,
blah, and then it could finally we can get that match. So, and then Cody can move
sure.
on to the next contender or whatever. So it's possible, like that.
Yeah, yeah,
There's still a story here, and Roman is still gonna be on the product. So that's the one thing that like people need to understand too is that he doesn't need to hold the title. People will watch Roman for Roman at this
hmm
point. He's the head of the table, right? Like he's still there, and we will watch him. I get the bigger question is can Cody become must see TV like Roman has? Because that's extremely hard, right? Like The Rock
sure.
said, you know TKO, Netflix, all these people they need The Rock there. They need Roman there. They need these guys there. They're not super interested in Seth Rollins, right? Like
Okay.
that's truth, man. That when he hit them with that, I was like, yeah, that's true. They want to know if these people are going to be invited because everybody knows who they are.
Yeah,
Only a fraction of people know who Seth Rollins actually is.
yeah,
So, you know, that's going to be the true test is whether Cody can actually carry that belt, and that's the concern here. Like I said, if they chose not to let Cody win, it would break my heart for sure. But at the same time, I understand the business aspect, but I also know you can create you can still have Roman on the product
yeah.
feuding with The Rock while Cody is still as champion. So you could still have that. You could still move it forward. It is a possible. It's not impossible to think that Cody can win for sure.
Yeah, yeah, no. And the only way you really do find out if he's capable of holding the title and making main event, big time main events is by giving him a chance. If you don't give him a chance, you're
Hmm.
never really gonna know. But I do think that there's a lot of programs that you can run with Cody as the champion going forward. Of course, that would mean I would assume that would mean that Cody would move to SmackDown. So that'd be kind of interesting because I feel like there's not
Hmm.
a ton of big time heels right now on SmackDown, other than obviously The Rock and Roman. So that would be interesting to see how that would look when you get to that point. Of course, I think there's probably going to be a draft in between the end of WrestleMania and SummerSlam. I think there'll be a draft in between there at some point. I'm assuming. I'm just assuming that, but I don't know. But yeah, we'll see where it goes, man. But yeah, we got a
Restroom break number one.
night one main event set up, and we'll see how it goes with WrestleMania night two. Oh, okay, there we go. All right, we're good. But yeah, I don't know. I want to see. Oh man, it's just so tough thinking about like trying to think about it and trying to think about whether how I want this tag match to go is. Hmm. Is that going to be two nights in a row of shenanigans then? Maybe, right? Two nights in a row of shenanigans if that's how this is going to roll. But so what would have rather seen if we weren't going to do if we weren't going to do the tag match in night one. I would have probably picked one of the women's matches to main event night one then at least because I feel that's that would have been
Sure.
fair. But oh well, it is what it is. But so we did get though some not really necessarily on. I don't know if there was any other noteworthy things on Friday night. We got the advancement of Logan Paul and Randy Orton. That seems to be the direction that they're going for the U.S. title. And then and they also got the thing with the Prime. I forgot about that. That was a pretty big thing with
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. That was big
Prime.
news.
Prime is actually going to be the first ever mat sponsor for for the WWE. So for the first time ever, a sponsored logo will be in the middle of a WWE ring, and it's going to be that ridiculous Prime logo.
That is awful though. That was a terrible like. They need a better logo
I,
than that,
I,
man.
I hope that's not going to be the logo that they're going to go with for that, but I guess only time will tell on that.
I really hate where I don't know. I just feel like wrestling shouldn't have never taken that approach. I think they should have just stayed with a clean mat and maybe put the prime on the apron or something like that. But my goodness, right there in the middle of the ring, it sticks out like a sore thumb, man.
Yeah, and
Kevin Owens should rip that shit off.
and so what we got as far as that announcement in that promo, we also got a KSI appearance, and KSI took a mean looking RKO from Randy Orton from out of nowhere. And it sounds like that's where we're going with as far as the United States Championship is concerned. I'm assuming it looks like we're going to go towards straight up Randy Orton versus Logan Paul. Then also on that show, we got what looks like, I guess it's going to be LA Knight versus AJ Styles. AJ Styles, again, for the second week in a row, absent from the show. Did a little video package, but was not at the show. We got LA Knight smashing a TV on the ground.
Oh my god, bro! The stupidest thing I've ever seen, dude. I'm like, you do realize he's not in there, right? Like,
hitting it with the chair multiple times. So pretty funny visual there. But I think those are about the biggest noteworthy things that I can remember on SmackDown. I feel like on Raw there was a lot more noteworthy things as we got set up with two WrestleMania matches, right? Two of them for sure, and the potential of a third already, all happening on last Monday night's Raw. We'll start off with the Intercontinental Championship. So the Intercontinental Championship, the Gauntlet match, took place on Raw, and it consisted of the 6 guys we talked about last week. And there was no surprises as far as no surprise entrants or anything. They stuck with the same 6 guys they announced. There was some oddball rumors that Brock Lesnar could be a surprise, last minute entrant or whatever in this. Those all those things didn't come to fruition. So we got just those 6 guys, and I feel like each one of those guys showed out in one way or another. I was getting a kick out of JD McDonough and Ricochet to start off that one. That was pretty damn good. Those two guys were so great together, and I was enjoying the start of that one. Of course, JD takes the pin from Ricochet, a sweet looking shooting star press to win that, and then Big Bronson Reed comes out and pretty much makes quick work of Ricochet from there. Hit him with a mean looking tsunami. And then Sami Zayn makes his appearance. Then right, it was Sami after that, and him and Bronson Reed put on a little bit of a good for a couple minutes there, and Sami Zayn pins Bronson Reed with the little roll up. And
that was really weird too.
Yeah, that was surprising. Like that was the way he got there, but. But Bronson Reed would not let that completely slide, as he would then hit Sami Zayn with a tsunami after he had gotten eliminated from that match. And so then you had Shinsuke Nakamura come out to go against a somewhat battle tested and battle hurt Sami Zayn, and their exchange was pretty good. It was about the same as probably the last match that they had together. And Sami Zayn wins, and then you get the real goal of this whole entire thing when Chad Gable comes out. And these are the 2 guys that I predicted last week would probably be one of the two guys that were going to win this thing. It was either going to be Chad Gable or it was going to be Sami Zayn, and you got both of them in the end. And they gave them a solid, I think, 8 to 9 minutes to go, and those two guys went at each other. Chad Gable, I cannot say enough good things about Chad Gable and how much I absolutely love his wrestling. His promo work that he's been doing on his own has been has been fantastic. They actually shared that video during the broadcast, and it had me believing that Chad Gable might actually win this thing. And I thought that that might be the direction that they were going to go, but then that's not what they did. Sami Zayn wins the match, sneaks it out actually on another surprise roll up again off of out of an ankle lock, which is a pretty nice counter. So now, as it stands right now, it's gonna be Gunther versus Sami Zayn at WrestleMania for the Intercontinental Championship. Tribal Cheese, how do you feel about that match?
Extremely disappointed. Extremely disappointed because I don't. I'm not too sure if I'm tripping, but have we had Sammy versus Gunther before? You know that?
Excuse me.
It wasn't even that recent.
Man,
I feel like we have. Like right before the Miz stuff started,
no.
I thought we had Sammy versus Gunther. You know?
I'm trying to think if it was. I don't think it was.
Well, regardless, I'm not that excited for this match. Geez. I'm gonna go out on a limb here and say that this one surprised me. Like, I look at the card, right, and I see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 one-on-one matches so far, right? 8 one-on-one matches with one ladder match and one tag team match so far on the books, right? So, and the ladder match is the tag titles match, right? So we have 8 one-on-one matches, and I thought for sure we were gonna get at least one triple threat. I thought I was thinking a fatal 6-way for this title because you're leaving a lot of talent without a match right now. A lot of talent. It has no matches right now. So I thought, hell, a gauntlet match at WrestleMania would have been pretty damn nice too, because this match was electric, man. This match was the best match, gauntlet match that we've seen in a long time, outside of probably the last one.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, I'm not very excited for it. I don't think that Gunther needed a one-on-one opponent. I think Gunther has proven time and time again that he doesn't lose in one-on-one situations. I do not think he's going to lose to Sami Zayn. However, Johnny T, you know where I'm going with this.
Okay.
And I'm calling it here. I'm calling it out. I've told you about this a few days ago, but it's going to be on the record.
It's putting it on the record.
Your Money in the Bank is coming in and cashing in on Gunther's ass. Think about it. I thought about it for a long time. They have been feuding. Gunther, Imperium have been feuding with Judgment Day. I think it's slightly, not telegraphed, but slightly, it makes sense. I also think it makes business sense, right? Because you're not going to have Damian Priest cash in on the Bloodline. That doesn't make any damn sense. Like, he's not going to cash in on Seth and Drew, because I think one or two of those guys need the title. For all the reasons that we've outlined in the past. Drew because he deserves it. Seth because, hey, he's going to be in the Avengers Initiative, right? So he needs that. He maybe needs that title. So, and you don't trust Damian Priest with the product yet. He's not that big, right? You can't have him be the face of the business right now. So what you do is you have him have an undercard title, and we've all been wanting Gunther out of like the mid card scene so he can jump into the main event scene. I think a heist on Gunther's title is probably the only way you take it off of him. So there you go, right? I don't know whether it's going to be triple threat or whether it's going to be a cash in after the bell, but I do think that Damian Priest will cash in the Money in the Bank and be your new 2024 Intercontinental Champion.
Wow. Okay, that is a very, very bold prediction. We'll see how that goes. I mean, that's very, very bold. I do think that in Sammy versus Gunther, which I double checked, it's never happened. It hasn't
Never
happened
happened.
before, so this is going to be the first time between the two people. I love Sami, and I'm a huge Sami Zayn fan, but I don't think he was the guy to win this time. I think what the work that Chad Gable has done over the past couple of weeks to build himself up for this, the promo work that he's done, and then just the in ring work that he did throughout on that match the other night. I think I would have liked to see that match one more time, just because he's been one of the guys that's gotten really, really close to beating Gunther too. But anyways, I don't know if the right guy was chosen for this time around.
There is no right guy.
And I mean, you're probably right about that. Do I? But I guess what I'm getting to too is that, well, even if it was Chad Gable, do I think that Chad Gable would have beat Gunther at WrestleMania? Oh, that's tough. I'm not sure. I think Gunther retains here, and one of two things either happens. Like you're saying, maybe we do get a Money in the Bank cash in for the Intercontinental title, and there we go, right? And there we go, right? Or or um he holds on to that Intercontinental Championship all the way through, let's just say, SummerSlam or Bash in Berlin, and you do a Gunther with the Intercontinental title versus whoever the World Heavyweight Championship champion is at that point.
Oh God, I do not want to see any more unifications.
I'm not even saying I'm not even
that.
saying like a unification match. I'm just saying you could have a champion versus champion, match or whatever kind of thing, and then I'm just a thought. It's just a thought. But because I'm not sure exactly how you take the title off of him, so
Okay.
as we go from there. But interesting, right? But it looks like it is going to be 1-on-1. I thought I was kind of with you. I was kind of with you. I thought maybe they were going to do a multi-man thing there. Maybe that was the opportunity to do that, and I guess they just decided to not do that. Do the one-on-one with Sami versus Gunther, and then go from there. And still give the opportunity maybe later on to give Chad Gable another shot at that title again. I don't know, but another one versus one match at WrestleMania. But we'll see how that turns out and where Gunther takes the Intercontinental Championship from here. But we're not getting a multi-man Intercontinental Championship match at WrestleMania, but we are getting a multi-person tag team match. The announcement was made also on Monday night that the unified WWE Tag Team Championships will be defended in a multi-team ladder match. Let's fucking go. Let's go. That's what that's what we were all looking for. We were all looking for some kind of special stipulation match or something, and a multi-team tag ladder match sounds great. It feels, I think it checks all the boxes that we're looking for in that. No tags, just free for all. It's going to consist of 6 teams, so that's 12 men at the ring in the ring at the same time, going for those titles in a ladder match. Of course, the champions are still Judgment Day, Finn Balor, and Damian Priest. They were not too happy about that joint announcement by Nick Aldis and Adam Pearce. And we did get the first. There's going to be qualifying matches for those spots, and the 3 that have been announced so far are going to take place next week on Raw. And I believe, correct me if I'm wrong here, that it is DIY versus the Creed brothers, which is interesting. That means one of those two. That means one of those 2 teams is not going to make it.
That's so messed up.
Then you have the team of Indusure versus R-Truth and The Miz. We already know who's probably going to win that one. Mm-hmm. And then the other tag The other tag team is why am I blanking? I'm blanking on
Pretty
that.
deadly. Who is it?
No. These are all Raw. These are all Raw guys. They haven't announced any SmackDown teams just yet.
Imperium.
No, actually, Imperium is not in this thing.
New Day.
Yes, thank you. New
Mhm.
Day versus who are other heel teams in on Raw right now? I don't know why I'm blanking on this. Uh, Either way, I think the New Day's winning. I don't know who they're going against, but I think they're winning. I don't,
Old Day.
I don't know if it really matters who they're facing. They're probably going to beat. Oh, I know who they're going up against. Okay, I got it.
The Dom and JD.
No. It's the Alpha Academy.
Uh,
Otis, and Tozawa. So you have the New Day versus Otis and Tozawa. You have DIY versus the Creed brothers, and then you have Awesome Truth versus Indusure. So
mhm.
three of those teams are gonna be entered into the are gonna qualify, and so that would make it 2, 4, 6, 8. So then you have room for two more teams, and I'm assuming that's where the SmackDown ones will come from. So
Gotcha.
you'll probably definitely have Pete Dunne and Tyler Bates, since they're the ones that kind of started this conversation about the tag titles. And then I guess
Hmm.
maybe Pretty Deadly. You mentioned Pretty Deadly. Maybe they get in, or maybe this is where you get in Austin Theory and Grayson Waller. Maybe
I love that.
um, give them something to do. Um, so maybe those are your teams. But I haven't seen anything on the SmackDown front. Maybe we'll get more uh, announcement on that on Friday as to who the qualifying teams are going to be on SmackDown. But either way, 12 man ladder match for the tag team titles. Both tag team titles are on the line, and so there's not a splitting of the titles or anything there. Um, what are your thoughts on the announcement of the ladder match, and are you excited with the names of the teams that have been added so far?
I'm super excited about that. I'm kind of disappointed that DIY and the Creed brothers are going in um, like first match because that means we're not going to get one of them. So one of them is not going to be in. My guess is it's going to be DIY that's going to win. I think they're going to pull it out. I know that DIY is getting a lot of TV time for all the wrong reasons, but they're getting TV time, which really sucks because I'm sure that they're gonna maybe they don't trust the Creed brothers yet, so they're giving them more time to percolate um, on live shows, right? Because they haven't even actually had a match in a while. So, um, the Creed brothers are probably gonna take the L on this one. Um, but to be completely honest, I was really excited about this one because hey, we we have a bunch of one-on-one matches, and this is the only one that's gonna be extremely fun. When I say fun, I mean like there's gonna be so much going on. You're gonna get those consistent like finishers and just this chain events and people climbing ladders, and it's gonna be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
So rather than even try to figure out who's gonna win this, um, I think I'm just gonna sit back and enjoy the ride. This one's gonna be a match that I particularly am gonna have a lot of fun with. Um, yeah, I'm excited for this one. I'm glad. I'm glad they went this way because there was no other way to go. They have too many tag teams,
No, you're
right?
right.
They have too many tag teams, and they have one match, one match. That's all they're gonna get because of all the one-on-one matches out there. They only got you know one tag team universal. What is it? Combined titles right now,
Yeah. So let
so they can't even defend two matches.
yeah, and so let's hit on that a little bit here, because that's an interesting thing to talk about, right? Because there's two nights of WrestleMania. Uh, I would assume, based on last year's card, I want to say there was about 11 matches on the card last year. You probably have enough room for about 11 to 12 matches between the two nights, right? So so far, we already know we got the WWE Universal Championship match, Cody and Roman. That's one. You got Seth and Drew. That's one. That's two. Excuse me. That's another one-on-one, right? Another one versus one match. You got the Intercontinental Championship with Sammy and Gunther. That's another one-on-one.
Hmm.
You have
Randy and Logan.
Randy and Logan. That hasn't been official, but I think that's where they're going with that. Um, you're probably gonna have AJ Styles versus LA Knight. That's probably where they're going for there. That's potential 5 singles matches right there. Oh, and then both of the women's. Uh,
6, 7.
that's seven.
Jay and
That's
Jimmy. That's 8.
that's 8 already. Now,
8
not
one-on-ones.
all of these are official yet, but potentially the way that we're headed here is for 8 singles matches, 8 of them. So the only multi-person matches are the tag team title match, and then the night one tag team match.
I'm gonna
No,
guess that the women's tag team match is gonna also be a multi-women's match.
so then that
They're
would
gonna
be
shove all those teams in there.
so then that would be your ninth. Your that would, I mean, geez,
I have 11 matches
that
on
would
the
be
card
that would be 12.
potentially
That,
already.
that would be 12 if you added the women's tag team title match. That would be 12 matches total.
I have 11 only right now. So Cody, the tag team titles: Roman Rock, Logan Randy, LA Knight, AJ Styles, Rhea Becky, Io Bailey, Sammy Gunther, Jay
Hmm.
Jimmy. The tag team ladder match: Seth and Drew, and then the Kabuki Warriors in their tag team ladder match, most likely like a men's and then a women's side. That should be 11 matches right now. You're already
Did you
booked, Johnny
get
T,
did,
at
did,
the
did
same
you
level.
did you get Randy and Logan?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Yes. So I got 11 matches, right? So we're already booked to the T of what we were at last year. We already have 11 matches.
Mm-hmm.
Let me tell you, Donnie T, who the hell we're missing already right now. Let me just run some names
Ooh,
by
yeah.
you real
Okay.
quick.
Go ahead.
Bianca Belair, Liv Morgan, Tiffany Stratton, Jade Cargill, Nia Jax, Raquel, Naomi, Chelsea Green, right? And then on the men's side, you got Dominic Mysterio, JD, KO, Shinsuke, Bobby Lashley, Karrion Cross. You're missing
Wow. Oh, dude.
quite a bit of people.
You're gonna go through
Rey Mysterio?
you took the words out of my mouth. You're gonna go to WrestleMania without Rey Mysterio on the card? I don't know about that.
Mm-hmm.
So, man, like
Santos Escobar, all those guys are
yeah,
gonna
all
be
those guys
the
are gonna
whole
all those
Phantasma.
yeah, all the factions are not even gonna be on. Half of the factions are not
And
even
they,
gonna be on the show potentially. So this
yeah.
is so
How do
this
you
is
put them in?
I don't know. This is the tough part. This is crazy because remember when this show was one night only?
Oh
and
yeah.
and this is the kind of stuff that would happen. This is why you ended up having a lot of those multi-man matches and stuff. And I think what's gonna happen, because this is what they did last year too. It's unfortunate you can't get everybody on the WrestleMania card as much as you would like to. It's just not gonna happen. I mean, right? I mean, it's virtually impossible to get every single person on the
You
card.
can if you're smart about the
So
way you're
so
doing it.
well, I mean, come on, dude. There's so many people. You're just not going to be able to put every single person on the card.
Sure, sure,
So
sure.
what you're going to do instead is what you did last year, and you're going to bill the Friday night before night one as Friday night WrestleMania SmackDown like they did last year. And you're going to give
It's
the
gonna be
guys
ridiculous.
you're going to give the guys that aren't going to get the guys and girls that are not going to get a chance to be on the WrestleMania shows to do something that night instead. It's unfortunate, it really is, but just think about last year for as an example. Bobby Lashley was supposed to be in a big program with Bray Wyatt, God rest his soul. But because of what happened to Bray, not only did that match get canceled, but Bobby Lashley didn't even show up on WrestleMania, and he was one of the more popular superstars going into WrestleMania, and they put him in the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal the night before, and the only thing they had him do at WrestleMania was come out on the stage and wave to the crowd. That was it. So it's unfortunate, but I guess that's just I guess it's just the nature of the beast here on this one. But I will say this: unless they make some changes in between now and WrestleMania, I feel like that is a lot of one-on-one matches. I feel like
LA Knight and AJ Styles sticks out on me as like it shouldn't be there. It's not a title match, and I don't even think people compared to the other matches.
I have
like it should be there.
I have a terrible feeling. Terrible feeling that that's gonna be one of your WrestleMania SmackDown matches.
Yeah, because they're on SmackDown.
And
they're on SmackDown.
If that happens, then that is extremely unfortunate. AJ Styles is not a guy that should be off of a WrestleMania card. I mean, legend in this business should not be not be able to wrestle on WrestleMania if he's available. And LA Knight, the work that he put in and that he did through all of 2023, to have that rewarded with once again being left off the WrestleMania card.
Well,
he was left off.
Let me put you this, Johnny T.
Yeah, go ahead.
So you said, obviously it's really sad that LA Knight's not going to be on this card. Most likely, I know he probably actually is going to be there because it's actually ticketed for WrestleMania. It's not ticketed for SmackDown. And I know that they kind of, I think when they say WrestleMania, it's WrestleMania the Nights. That's
what I was just saying. I have a bad feeling. I hope my feeling is not I hope it doesn't happen, but I just have one of those weird feelings that's like, oh God, I hope not.
But tell me this, Johnny T. Why could it not have been Logan Paul versus Randy Orton versus LA Knight versus AJ Styles?
I don't know.
Why could it not have been that?
I agree. Because I agree with you because I'm not
Knight to win the title from Logan Paul, and I'm all for that.
I thought the direction that they should have gone should have been, if they were going to do something with Logan Paul, which obviously they are, right? I thought they should have had him just go up straight up with LA Knight. I feel like the promos on that would have been good. It would have been something spectacular, but for whatever reason they pivoted and they decided not to do that. And they decided to do this AJ and LA Knight stuff. And it would be nice if AJ Styles would show up to the show to help move this forward a little bit, instead of just doing these video promos where LA Knight is having to carry everything. I don't have a problem saying that LA Knight is carrying this feud. AJ Styles is doing very little to make this feud interesting. LA Knight is
upset. That's all he's doing.
Yeah, LA Knight's carrying this whole thing unless they do something spectacular within the next couple of weeks. LA Knight did mention things like maybe I need to go over to AJ Styles' house. I would be all for a segment like that if LA Knight shows up to AJ Styles' house or something like that. That would be kind of funny. But I don't know. But that match could be one of those ones that could be earmarked for a Friday night instead of a WrestleMania card. But because I don't know, like you said, we're at about 11 to 12 matches already on the WrestleMania card. I don't know. I don't know, man. It's going to be tricky.
Oh, yeah. Especially because of the talent you're leaving off. Bianca Belair doesn't even have a match. How do you have a WrestleMania without Bianca Belair?
That's also true. You can't. I feel like you can't. So what do you do?
How do you do that? You can't. She's one of the biggest superstars.
But maybe like you said, maybe that's where you get the multi. Either you get the Kabuki Warriors tag team match, or I throw this out here. I throw this out there too, because it was kind of teased. I don't want, but Naomi, Bianca, and Damage Control all were on the screen at the same time last week. So obviously Io is taken, and Bailey are doing their thing.
Oh God, I forgot about Damage Control.
So that leaves Dakota and the Kabuki Warriors available. I don't think we necessarily need to see a women's tag team title match at WrestleMania if we go in this direction instead. if we go the remaining members of Damage Control versus Bianca Belair, Naomi, and Jade Cargill. Jade was
Sure,
also
sure. I'm down for that.
Jade was also shown on the screen with a couple weeks ago with Damage Control,
Good
and
prediction. I'm down for that.
and Bianca kind of teased maybe some kind of an attitude change to Naomi. So
Sure.
that'd be an interesting angle there too, right? So maybe that's a way you can get more people on the card as well,
Yeah.
right? Another multi-person match.
But you could do that one on Friday.
I
Because
mean,
it's not a title match, Johnny T.
I understand that, but oh man, it's another one where it's like, do you keep Bianca Belair, who's main
Off
evented,
of WrestleMania.
has been in championship matches the past 3 years of WrestleMania, and you're just gonna keep her off the card and put her on SmackDown? I don't know about that. I don't think you can. Excuse me. I don't think you can do that. I think you need to put her in a
He's on the kickoff show now.
WrestleMania match. So I don't know, dude. You got a lot of potential issues you can have here, and I guess it'll just remain to be seen.
Look, we
where I
have.
go.
Liv
But let me
Morgan.
let me do this real quick because we're gonna play some compare and contrast, right?
Sure.
So we counted what so far the potential of 8 singles matches coming up.
8 singles matches.
So
and 3.
I have the card from last year's WrestleMania pulled up.
Sure.
Let's count and see if how it compares to the potential of what this year's is going towards. So on night 1 we had Austin Theory versus John Cena for the United States title. Good Lord, what that did not do for Austin Theory to beat John Cena. But that was one singles. Then we had the SmackDown Women's Championship match between Charlotte Flair and Rhea. That's two singles.
Huge.
Of course, the main event was the Undisputed Tag Team Championships. That's a multi-man.
Sure.
Becky Lynch, Lita, and Trish versus Damage Control. That's another
Multi-man.
multi-person, so 2 and 2. Seth versus Logan. So that's 3 singles matches
3
to
and 2.
2. Ray versus Dom. That's 4 to 2.
4.
Braun and Ricochet versus the Street Profits versus Alpha Academy versus Viking Raiders. So in
4-3.
night 1, 4 singles matches, 3 multi-people matches. Okay. So night 2, of course, the main event was Cody versus Roman. That was the singles. So that's 5 to 3.
5 to 3.
Bianca Belair versus Asuka, 6 to 3.
6 to 3.
Gunther versus Drew versus Sheamus, 6 to 4.
6 to 4.
Helena,
That was a banger.
Edge, yeah, Edge versus Finn. That's 7, but that was
7 to
also
4?
that was also
7
on
to 5?
Hell in a Cell.
7 to 4.
7-4. Brock versus Omos. I forgot about that match.
Oh God. 7.5 versus.
That's 8-4.
That's such a Brock match right there. That is
And
such a
then
Brock match.
and then the women's tag team showcase match: Liv Raquel versus Ronda, Shayna versus Natalia, Shotzi versus
8 to 5.
Chelsea Green,
That's
Sonya
13
Deville.
matches, Johnny T.
That was
That's
13.
You
13.
miscalculated.
Well, see, I was just throwing a number out there. I wasn't 100% sure if I wasn't 100% sure on the number count. I knew it was somewhere around 11, 12-ish, but there was 13 matches last year, and so that was what did we count? 8 to 5 ratio on that. So yeah, I mean, I guess we got our 8 singles matches, so I guess that's where we're headed again. So I guess I don't know, but I don't know. For some reason, I feel like there's just like a lot of singles
The same way?
matches, but I don't know. I mean, we could so on this year's card, we've counted the potential of 8 singles matches and 3
Two.
multi-people matches.
Three multi-people matches so far.
So
So
far.
that means that they're gonna add two more multi-matches, which you said Bianca Belair.
That could be one.
And
So maybe
then-
that's your.
That's your multi-match.
And then yeah. So oh man, I don't know. But 13.
You got potential for
So-
one more after that.
So if you're going for 13 matches total, then you could put AJ and Layla Knight on WrestleMania. Then
Sure, that's part of the 8. So then you have a potential for one more multi-match, which could be anything from a battle royal to a faction match.
I have a feeling.
I still wish the trio titles would be here because that would be an amazing thing to watch. Because there's so many,
Yeah.
a trio title
I wouldn't.
gauntlet match. I don't know, it'd be crazy.
The one thing they did last year that I actually really enjoyed, that I was actually surprised, and I think they should do it again. And maybe this is where you put. Oh man, that's too many teams though. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, you could do that. Probably won't be able to put all the losing teams that lose in the qualifiers in one match together, but I wouldn't mind if they wanted to do another one of those tag team showcase matches like they did last year. That's the one you had Braun and Ricochet versus the Street Profits versus Alpha Academy versus Viking Raiders. It wasn't really wasn't for a title. It was one of those try to get as many people as we can on the card kind of matches. But it actually ended up being a really cool match. It was actually one of the kind of neat matches. I thought it was going to be one of those like, this is going to be the you can go get your snack match. But I watched it and I was like, oh shit, this match is actually pretty damn cool. So maybe you can add one of those before WrestleMania. I don't know, dude, but
then you even if you go the tag team route, you're leaving out the trios, right? So unless you're gonna add AOP, Sans, Karrion Kross, and Bobby Lashley,
man,
they've spent a good deal of time investing in.
That's tough.
So I don't think that I think that you're gonna give all the TV time to these tag teams for the next couple of weeks and say, I'm sorry, you're not gonna be on the show. Unless you make it, right? So
yeah, that's true.
I think that last multi-man is going to be reserved for the trios, which is going to probably be Dominic. I'm sorry, it's probably going to be Rey Mysterio's faction versus the what is it, Phantasma faction, which I think is probably a pretty good addition. I mean, like you said, it's hard to have. I mean, shit, I would take that faction versus Bobby Lashley's faction versus Karrion Kross's faction. I would take that in a 4-way faction match. That would be pretty decent, but I'm guessing it's going to be Rey Mysterio versus Santos Escobar's faction. So that makes the most sense. You're leaving Bobby Lashley off the card, but
again,
who knows?
Wow, that'd be kind of insane. But I mean, yeah, you gotta. I mean, you can't have everybody on this card, and that's kind of the unfortunate. Dude. That's kind of the unfortunate part of everything.
What about my girl Tiffany Stratton, Liv Morgan, Chelsea Green, Naomi, Raquel, Nia Jax? All these women are going to be left off right now. All of them.
As of right now, they have no direction.
And Liv and Nia Jax could have easily been implemented into that match. So
I will say this: as much as I do really, really like her, and I think she's got superstar and everything written all over her right now, I think it's okay if Tiffany Stratton misses this WrestleMania. I think that's okay.
Sure.
I think that's okay. I also think that if they decide to go in this direction, I think if they decide to keep Jade Cargill off, I think that's okay too.
Sure.
But I don't. But I think I think they're gonna do that 3 versus 3 match to be able to get the Kabuki Warriors on there, and to be able to get Naomi, Bianca, and Jade Cargill together in a 6-woman tag match kind of thing. I think we're probably gonna get that. But as far as all the other women go, I guess all those women are gonna get thrown into the Mae Young or whatever it is, whatever they call the women's battle royal now.
That's rough, man.
And the same thing for the guys. Same thing for the guys too. Last year, the Andre the Giant Battle Memorial was on SmackDown. That's the one that Bobby won. And I think that's what's going to happen to all the oddballs that are not going to get a chance to compete at WrestleMania. They're all going to end up competing in the Andre the Giant Battle Royal on SmackDown instead. And yeah.
I get that. I get Tiffany's young, but when I think about putting the best product I can possibly put out there from a
yeah.
Tiffany Stratton, Ricochet, these guys, they should be on there because they make WrestleMania moments one way or another, So I don't know, man. Even JD McDonough, right? Like these moments that we get,
Hmm.
like they're great wrestlers. Ivar, right? Like
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just Creed brothers, right? Like you want these spectacular moments.
Sure, man. Like,
Um,
I mean, I feel
you
you.
know, I actually don't think LA Knight and AJ Styles is gonna be that exciting. I don't think that they are. Well, maybe AJ is a little bit of a high flyer, but he's kind of old. So I don't know, man. I think that there's a lot more. I mean, Sammy and Gunther should be fine, I guess. Logan, Randy. It's
I
gonna be a very slow, methodical match
yeah.
because Randy's slow and
I
methodical now.
I have a feeling this. I think we're both on this boat. That I don't know if the way this card is set is how it's gonna stay. I have a
Sure,
feeling that some of these matches are gonna get flexed into something else because there's a lot of stories that are being told here in a lot of these different places, and I just feel like you're gonna let those stories die. I don't know how I feel about that.
I think Chad Gable should have had
Like like
WrestleMania match with
like
Gunther.
I don't know if letting Chad Gable's story die now is good. I don't know if letting uh, Nia Jax and Liv Morgan's story die is good. Not to say that that those stories die. I mean, sure, you can always pick it up after WrestleMania. Like if Rhea retains against Becky, which early prediction I think she is, but um, then you could always do Liv Morgan and Rhea next at the next pay per view or whatever, a Backlash or whatever. So I mean, sure, you can still continue that, but I mean, uh, for the past couple of weeks, those two stories, the Chad Gable one and the Liv Morgan and all that, have been two really, really good stories you've been telling, and you're just gonna let them die going into WrestleMania because you don't want to add them to those title matches. I don't know. It seems kind of odd to me. I think adding. I wouldn't see a problem with adding Chad Gable to that match, but I don't think they're gonna. I think if you saw the promo he did on the exclusive on the WWE.com exclusive, it sounded like he was pretty just dejected to the fact that this is it. Like he's not gonna get another chance at this right now. He's not gonna request a
Sure.
rematch or anything like that. So, but maybe something could change there. I mean, I don't know. And then on the Liv Morgan side, she lost clean to Becky, like clean as a whistle.
That was bizarre.
No shenanigans or anything. So I, but then Bianca excuse me, Naya goes and destroys them in the back, and then that sets up the last woman standing match for next week with Becky versus Naya, and I'm assuming that Becky's gonna win that one. So then, yeah, Naya and Liv, who were pretty prominent pieces of the story, all of a sudden were just that's all they were. They were just pieces of it, and now their
They're working
stories.
them out.
Then now their story's done, and it's like, oh, I don't
They're
know
trying
how.
to build up
Yeah,
Becky Lynch as a contender.
it's all to give Becky this momentum going into her match with Rhea, trying to get her some big quality wins. Which that match with Becky and Liv Morgan was really fantastic. It was really really good.
It was so good.
So I guess I mean I'm sure next week's will be kind of fun with being a last woman standing match. But but yeah, I don't know. I don't know. A piece of me feels like these singles matches that have been announced are not all going to stay that way. I feel like some of them have the potential to be flexed into multi people, whether it be triple threats or fatal four ways or whatever. I'm not saying that every single one needs to have that happen because then you just have a bunch of multi people matches on the card, but the ratio right now is not. I mean, I guess if you're comparing it to last year, I guess it is fitting, but I don't
Yeah, they
know.
just need to add two more multi matches. They need to add two more, and
Yeah,
they'll be exactly at the same place that they were last year.
yeah. So I don't know. I guess that's where we're headed then.
Yeah, because they can't add too many more. Then they'll have a lopsided multi-man ratio instead of
Yeah,
enough
yeah.
singles
So
matches. So
okay then. Yeah. Well, all right. I guess that pretty much.
What it is, it is what
I
it
guess it
is.
is what it is, right? I mean, I have no doubt that even if this card just stays the way that it is and we stay the course and they add a couple matches, I have no doubt it's going to be like, I mean, just looking at the superstars that are on the card, it's going to be good. We're going to get good stuff all the way around. I don't see any like if we're listing the name the matches, and I don't see any potentials for like, oh, that's going to be a dud. You know, that's going to be a dud. That's going to be a complete dud. Oh, that's a match like Brock versus Almas. Like we don't have any of those this year.
Yeah, the closest thing we got to that is the closest thing that we got to a dud is probably LA Knight AJ Styles
And
because
I
there's nothing on the line
and
for it.
I wouldn't even call that necessarily a dud. That's probably just going to be an okay
Yeah,
to good match. I don't think those
a
two
grudge
guys are.
match.
I don't think those two guys are capable of putting on a terrible or bad match. You know, even though like I don't like we're shitting on it, but that Brock versus Almas was kind of entertaining just to see Brock if Brock could pick him up for the F5. That was pretty much the entertaining part about it. But
Sometimes you got to have a 5 minute match on the card to give more room to the other people, and none of these matches strike me as 5 minute matches.
right, that's the thing about it too is that I'm not sure if any of these are going to be quick. I mean,
No,
maybe that LA Knight versus AJ Styles is like 7 minutes. Maybe that's like your 7 minute match. If not, I mean, if not this WrestleMania nights are gonna have a really long run time. You're gonna have a really long run time on these 2 nights of WrestleMania. Then, if that's what you're gonna do, but I
I'd
guess
say I'll just be disappointed in that.
no. I mean, that's fine. I mean, we've all been used to 5 hour, not one night WrestleManias in the past. Like, good lord. So splitting it up into 2 nights isn't too bad of a deal if you want to do 2.5 to 3 hours each night. But well, that was a fun conversation on that one, and it ended up with it's the same thing as last year, pretty much. So I thought for sure the ratio was gonna be like completely like different, but no, it's about par of the course for what this Triple H era goes for these WrestleMania 2 night cards. So we'll see. Wow, I guess we'll see how the rest of the card shapes up as we go forward. Um, is there anything else you want to get into before we get out of here, Tribal Cheese? I feel like we've hit a
No,
lot
I
of
think we
bullet
covered
points here.
everything. I think we covered everything. I think we should let some stories develop a little
For
bit further because,
sure.
like you said, a couple of these haven't been officially announced. Obviously, Logan Paul, Randy Orton, so that could still change. And we do know that Jimmy and Jay will probably, become a thing. I think it's okay to talk about that the next time, though.
Yeah, we'll wait on that one because I'm sure Friday we're gonna get a lot more of a direction as what Jimmy's response is to Jay, and once that becomes an official match, I feel like we'll have a lot to talk about with that one once it becomes official, because it'll be their first time ever going up against each other. But it's unofficial right now, so there's not a point of spending too much time on it. So you're right about that. Um, but yeah, now we're
Yeah.
Come on, LA Knight. Come on, LA Knight, and make that feud somewhat special. Come on, man. He's working it, man. He's trying. That man
He's beating up TVs and
give
shit,
give that man an award for try hard of the year, man, because he's trying. But we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Really? Still? Let me see. Let me count that again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah. We still have 7 shows before WrestleMania. We have 4 SmackDowns and 3 Raws left before WrestleMania. So we still have a lot of things that can happen here, a lot of stories that can be told before that time. So as things happen, obviously, we'll be right back here to talk about it all. Stay tuned as the card shapes up, and what we're hoping to do, we're gonna do a quick little production meeting live here, real quick. Tribal Cheese, of course, as once again we are sans Mr. Zero. He's missing in action, so we're just gonna do the 2-man show going forward. So I would think the week of WrestleMania, we will do a prediction show. What do you feel? How you feel about that?
Yeah, we always have to do prediction shows. We gotta find out who's gonna be, batting 100, 1,000 for 1,000. We gotta
So then,
find it out.
yep. So then the week of WrestleMania, we will release our prediction show, and I will hopefully it'll probably just be the two of us. So we'll figure out some way to to have a bet payoff to
Right.
whoever gets the best predictions between me and you. We'll figure it out then and there. But as always, guys, remember to like and subscribe and click the bell icon for all the notifications for any videos, any shorts, anything. Anytime we go live, you want to be able to get those notifications to your cell phone. It's free to do so, guys. It doesn't cost a damn thing. So click on them, please. And share with your friends too. Tell your friends about this thing, man. We are. I think you said this, Travel Cheese, and I'm gonna repeat what you said because I believe it. I think we are one of the best wrestling podcasts out there today. I will put everything I have on that.
Without a doubt, we are the best. No, it's not even a question, guys. It's not even
It's
close, okay? We are levels above every other
we are on
podcast on
God
YouTube
mode.
today.
We are
We are
on
in God
God
mode.
mode on this podcast.
Greatness on a different level.
But thank you guys so much for joining us tonight. We'll be right back here, hopefully in a couple of days, to recap a bunch of different things, and we'll see where things go in this crazy ass road to WrestleMania that we've been on as we continue to drive this 4x4 through all the weird ass terrain. But until then, guys, that's been the Tribal Cheese. I'm the Mean Bean Johnny T, and we will see you guys. You know how it goes. Come on. Next time.